What's really happening in the Middle East right now? Well, it seems like we're witnessing a high-stakes game of chess, with the key players being Iran and Israel. Tensions are escalating and the situation is moving at a rapid pace, making it a challenge to keep up. The most recent cycle of violence has seen a series of retaliatory actions. It started with Israel bombing an Iranian consular building. This move was seen as a direct provocation by Iran, which responded by launching a military attack on Israel. But the narrative doesn't end there. Israel retorted with a counterstrike, targeting a military airfield in Iran. It's like a dangerous dance where each step is met with an equally forceful response. The stakes are high and the potential for escalation is ever present. This isn't a new dance, but the tempo seems to be picking up, and the world is warily watching each move. Now, it's important to note that each action is not just a reaction to the previous one. They are part of a larger, complex narrative woven with decades of history, politics, and ideology. This isn't just a tit-for-tat exchange. It's a reflection of the deep-seated animosity and distrust that have long characterized the Iran-Israel relationship. Moreover, these actions are not happening in a vacuum. They are part of a broader geopolitical landscape that involves other key players, each with their own interests and agendas. The UK, for instance, has been increasing its military presence in the region, while the US is grappling with its own set of challenges, such as the issue of ghost guns. The situation is fluid, complex, and fraught with potential for further escalation. It's a high-stakes game where the moves made by Iran and Israel have far-reaching implications, not just for the two countries, but for the entire Middle East and indeed the world. So what happens next? Well, that's the million-dollar question. Will there be a de-escalation, or will we see further retaliation? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear: the world is watching and the stakes are high. As the situation continues to evolve, the world watches on with bated breath. So where does the United Kingdom fit into all of this, you may wonder? Well, the UK has indeed been playing a significant role in the unfolding geopolitical events. The United Kingdom has recently ramped up its military presence in the Red Sea region. This move has been primarily focused on targeting Yemen's Houthis, a group that has been causing considerable unrest in the region. But it's not just about the Houthis. The UK is also standing shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine against Russian aggression, demonstrating its commitment to maintaining peace and stability in Europe. Now, the UK's actions are not without implications. These military operations have sparked a wave of concerns about their legality and the potential for escalation. With Iran-backed groups like Hamas and Hezbollah involved in the region, the risk of a full-blown conflict cannot be ignored. But why is the UK taking such a bold stance? One reason could be its desire to protect international shipping. The Red Sea is a crucial maritime route, and ensuring its safety is vital for global trade. A disruption in this area could have far-reaching economic consequences, something the UK is keen to prevent. Another reason is regional stability. The Middle East has long been a hotspot for conflicts, and the UK's intervention could be seen as an attempt to maintain a balance of power. This move isn't just about the here and now. It's a strategic play, a chess move, if you will, aimed at securing the UK's influence in the Middle East for the long term. On the domestic front, this could potentially boost political support. The UK's government has seen a significant increase in defense spending and troop deployment, a clear indication of its commitment to global security. This could resonate with the citizens, reinforcing the image of a government that is proactive and willing to take necessary actions to maintain peace and security. And so, as the situation unfolds, the UK's role is becoming increasingly prominent. It's a delicate balancing act, one that could have significant implications for the future of the region and beyond. The UK's involvement in this conflict is seen as a strategic move to maintain influence in the Middle East and potentially boost domestic political support. And that, my friends, is the essence of the UK's role in these complex geopolitical events. But to understand the present, we must look to the past. In the late 40s, the Middle East was a tumultuous region, a theater of conflict and change. One key player in this historical drama was Al Schwimmer, a decorated World War II veteran hailing from Connecticut. Schwimmer played a pivotal role in a covert operation that had far-reaching consequences on the geopolitical stage. His mission? To smuggle arms to Palestine in 1948, aiding the Haganah, an underground Jewish paramilitary group. Schwimmer was not alone in this operation. He led a team of World War II veterans in an audacious plan to smuggle 125 military planes and over 50,000 weapons. This daring operation was in direct defiance of an American embargo, a bold move that spoke volumes about Schwimmer's determination and conviction. But the operation was not just about smuggling weapons. It was about building a force that could defend a new nation. The arms smuggled by Schwimmer and his team were instrumental in establishing the Israeli Air Force, a critical component in the embryonic state's defense apparatus. The operation had a diverse support base. From Frank Sinatra to mobster Meyer Lansky, a wide array of volunteers lent their hands in this clandestine endeavor. This operation was not without consequences. Back home in the US, Schwimmer faced legal repercussions, but in Israel he was hailed as a hero, a man who had risked everything for a cause he believed in. At the heart of Schwimmer's actions was a deep sense of duty, a duty to his fellow human beings, a duty to those who had survived the horrors of the Holocaust and were seeking refuge in Palestine. He was driven by a desire to help these survivors, to provide them with a means to defend themselves and their newfound home. Schwimmer's actions were motivated by a deep sense of duty and a desire to help Holocaust survivors seeking refuge in Palestine. And what about the United States? Where do they stand in all of this? In the midst of heightened global tensions, the United States is wrestling with its own internal issues that could have reverberating impacts on the Middle East conflict. The Supreme Court is on the brink of a significant decision concerning the regulation of ghost guns under the Biden administration. Now you may be wondering, what are ghost guns? These are firearms that are homemade or improvised, often lacking commercial serial numbers, making them virtually untraceable. While this issue might seem detached from the Middle East conflict, it's important to realize the interconnectedness of global events. The U.S., being a substantial global actor, has its domestic decisions scrutinized and felt on the international stage. This issue of ghost guns is no exception. If the Supreme Court rules in favor of stricter regulation, it could potentially diminish the supply of untraceable weaponry, not only on American soil but also in conflict zones abroad. This could mean a setback for groups that rely on such weapons, including those involved in the Middle East conflict. On the other hand, if the court rules against regulation, it could perpetuate the status quo, with ghost guns continuing to be a part of the global arms black market. This could indirectly fuel conflicts like the one we're seeing in the Middle East, adding to the complexity and volatility of the situation. It's a delicate balance and a decision that carries considerable weight, not just for the United States, but for the wider world. The Biden administration has urged restraint to prevent further escalation in the Middle East. And as we wait for the Supreme Court's decision, one thing is clear. The outcome will have repercussions far beyond the borders of the United States. So what's next for the Middle East? That's the question on everyone's lips as we navigate through the cloudy maze of geopolitics and military tactics. The future in the Middle East can be as unpredictable as the shifting sands of the desert. But there are some developments that we can anticipate. First and foremost, Iran's stern warning of a swift retaliation if provoked cannot be overlooked. This is not an empty threat, but a stark reminder of the volatility that characterizes the region. Iran's military capabilities and its influence in the region are significant, and any actions taken against it will not go unanswered. This brings us to the second point, the call for a negotiated settlement for the release of hostages. This could potentially be a turning point, a step towards diplomacy and dialogue. The process of negotiation, though fraught with complexities, can pave the way for a more peaceful resolution. It's a challenging task, no doubt, but the alternative, a full-blown conflict, is a scenario that the world can ill afford. It's also worth noting that the changing dynamics in the Middle East are not isolated events. They are intertwined with global politics and have far-reaching implications. The UK's growing military profile, the US's stance on ghost guns, and the historical context of the Israel-Iran conflict all play a crucial role in shaping what's next. And what about the role of the international community? It's crucial that the world keeps a close watch on the developments in the Middle East. A collective effort towards peace and stability can go a long way in mitigating potential crises and ensuring the welfare of the people in the region. In conclusion, the future of the Middle East is a complex web of possibilities. It's a region that's constantly in flux, where peace and conflict are two sides of the same coin. But amidst the uncertainty, there's one thing that remains constant: the hope for peace. It's this hope that fuels the efforts towards resolution and dialogue, and it's this hope that we must cling on to as we navigate the turbulent waters of the Middle East. As we move forward, the hope for peace remains, even amidst the ongoing turbulence.